Please, for the love of God, I'm just begging you with every fiber of my being. Oh, this is our old run that I like Alt F4 now. Alright, you got me, okay, you got me. Give me an Eden run. Give me an Eden run. It's been 2 days since I played Isaac. I'm still feeling the hangover of the last Isaac run. 9LIK86J3. In 99% of cases, I support game delays. Take as long as you need, sweetie. I'll be ready when it's good, okay? Nah, not this one's gotta. I'm sorry, it's gotta come out. It's gotta come out like tomorrow, please. I do love, so like apparently it's supposed to come out on the 31st, but even though it's just a placeholder on Steam, people are like, it's okay, NL, just 6 more days. And I'm like, just 6 more days until we all realize it's just a placeholder date. I'm so stupid, but also this is not. It's not so bad if I. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I'm probably gonna die here. Well, no, and good. I'm excited as well. Like I'm not excited, obviously, but I'm excited that we got. I'm excited going here. Hello, I would like to use a bomb. That's not good. Like, this run is actually statistically pretty strong. It just also is... I mean, this is a very humorous start to an episode. I don't think there's any denying that. I do appreciate Lump of Coal. I do appreciate getting my bomb back. I do appreciate the chance to pick up the Spirit Heart, and I suppose I'll be on my merry way following that. Yeah. Well, the truth of the matter is, Isaac is at a point now, and it's not even a bad thing. You might think, like... he's gonna cancel the series. No, I did think about it, but it's like the same way you think about like giving your boss the middle finger and walking out. Like when you leave work, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. And then you come to work the next day and you're like, actually, like, I just had a bad day. It turns out like the job's not that bad, you know. Or if it is, either way, I still need to knock out the rent. Either way, yeah, like the last run was just kind of like a comical. It was like a macrocosm of the problems that exist in Isaac right now, which is, again, fine. You know, it is like a 22-year-old game or something like that. A lot of those problems are manifested as a result of still playing it. But I do acknowledge, and I mean this with all sincerity. First off, by the way, we're going full chaos mode. We're taking pills. We're doing like all the things you shouldn't do from this point on. That scared the crap out of me. From this point onwards, because when we did the things we were supposed to do, we lost anyway, because we got, you know, hit with the run that was just like, you know what I mean? So we're gonna maybe mess about a little bit. Maybe, you know, life's too short to not be taking all the pills in Isaac. That's what I'm trying to say. Just a single penny would go a long way here, just for the record. But anyway. I recognize that in many circumstances, the Isaac episodes are at their best when they're at their worst, if that makes sense. The lower quality that the run is, the higher quality the entertainment is, most of the time. So I am, believe it or not, I actually have done like a full 180. Crazy. I no longer am like, man, how dare they give me a run like that, you know? Now I'm much more like, dude, thank you for giving me a run like that, which made the entertainment, like, come so easy. It was like second nature. Shouldn't second nature be, like, hard? Like, first nature is like it comes naturally to you, right? Second nature is like, hey, whatever. I don't think he's heard his second nature, Pippin. How am I doing? I'm doing well, actually. So I had, like, I took all of Boxing Day off, so it's now the 27th of December. Hold on. That's a Telepills. This is a Verp. One makes you small. I don't think we want to Verp Telepills. We do want to get our second item room. But I had a nice day. I had a nice, like, remainder of Christmas. That Isaac episode was the last thing I recorded. It was planned to be the last thing I recorded on Christmas Day. So I could spend a little bit more time with my family, obviously. But then, if it hadn't been planned that way, that's still how that would have gone down after seeing what that run tried to do to me. But yeah, it was fun, you know, spend Christmas with the family. Sit on the couch. Ordered some Indian food. It was delicious. We watched the new Pixar movie, Soul. It was a good time. I thought the movie was very good. I would classify it as a top tier Pixar film. Let me put it that way. You know what? We should do this, actually. Okay, fair enough. And also, like, dude, I know we talk about this stuff all the time, and I don't work in, like, the entertainment industry in that sense. Like, I don't live in Hollywood, and, like, I was gonna say do drugs. That's just a mean and judgmental thing to say. Plus, didn't you have a cup of coffee this morning, NL? What's with the holier-than-thou attitude? No, but I don't work in that, you know, in the traditional entertainment industry, but I have opinions on it from time to time, and I'm kind of, like, tangentially interested in it. But if you're Netflix, do you just look at, like, Disney Plus's lineup right now and go, okay, like, it's just not fair? Like, don't get me wrong. You know, Disney has kind of been ruthless in, like, its content acquisition and stuff like that. Not just Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, but, you know, also 20th Century Fox last year and, you know, and so on and so forth, right? But still, like, Disney Plus, I'll just tell you, man, like, even... Here's how my experience with Disney Plus went. We got it, I think we got it to watch Frozen. Because my wife wanted... I don't know why I'm putting on, like, oh, it wasn't me, it was my wife. But really, like, it was Kate who wanted to watch Frozen. And they kind of, like... I don't want to say they screw you. But, like, they're like, hey, you can, like, rent Frozen on YouTube or on, like, you know, iTunes or whatever. On Google Play movies and TV for, like, you know, $8. Or you can get a month of Disney Plus for $10. You're like, come on, I'll just get a month of Disney Plus for $10. And then for a while, you know, we watched a little bit on it, don't get me wrong. But, hold on. Is there a secret room? No, which means there must be a secret room here. My God, the man's a genius. It kind of sucked for a while, you know, unless, if you had kids, Disney Plus was, like, sick. Because instead of having to buy those, Disney Vault copies with, like, the plastic covers, like, you know what I'm talking about, like, some VHS, tapes back in the day came in, like, basically just a cardboard box that you would slide the tape in, and then the Disney ones came in this weird, like, white plastic that was like, ooh la la. So they don't fit in your shelf properly, and that's because Disney movies are not made to go on the shelf. They're made to stand out. And if you got a problem with that, then you don't need to watch Lady and the Tramp 2, okay? Maybe you should watch Tenet. Maybe that's a little bit more your speed. Anyway, forgot where I was going with this. Oh, Disney Plus, like, it sucked for a bit. It had, like, you know, Mandalorian Season 1, which I didn't even watch until Season 2 had come out. Then, like, Hamilton came out, and it depends, like, what you're into, but it was worth the price of admission for us for a month. But now it's like, hold up. So, okay, they got the new Pixar movies on there, you know, for, I don't want to say free, but you know what I mean, for the price of normal admission. They're not doing the Mulan thing with it, which I really appreciated, because, you know, I don't even really want to watch Mulan for free, quite honestly. This film is free! Well, if you already paid for the service, but now, I'm pretty sure, like, if you're Netflix, you're like, okay, we got the Queen's Gambit. No, everybody loves the Queen's Gambit. And then Disney's like, okay, brand new Pixar film that probably would have made like $300 or $400 million at the box office. It wouldn't have been $1 billion, Marty. I'm telling you, because it's not. Kids are not going to want to see Soul multiple times. It's more of like kind of an adult film. But anyway. And then they're like, okay, we got The Mandalorian Season 2, which everybody is saying is like the best thing that happened to Star Wars, minimum since Rogue One, but possibly like a lot longer than that as well. And then, yeah, on top of that, like, we're making 22 new Star Wars shows. And then on top of that, with all the Marvel stuff's coming here. And then we got like 17 new Marvel shows that are like, and if you're Netflix, aren't you just like, we got that movie with Chris Hemsworth? We got that one, Chris Hemsworth, like, drives a Humvee in the Middle East, remember? We got that one, you know, the old guard. We got that one with Charlize Theron. We got that one. I feel like Netflix is gonna, they're gonna like cry to the U.S. government. They're gonna be like, it's not fair. How are we supposed to compete with that? I will say, I mean, okay, look, first off, the buzz on Wonder Woman 1984 is not very good. Critical buzz was half decent, and then, like, the viewer buzz seems to be very not good. Let's call it muted at best. This is what I wanted, so I'm happy. I guess we should have gotten a coupon, but, man, whatever. Again, I'm not playing by the rules anymore. I don't have a horse in the race, you know, like, at this point, the Marvel spell has, at least temporarily, passed me by, because it's been a year without superhero movies, so I'm kind of like, I'm waking up, you know? I'm like, wait a minute, I've got to watch some Fellini films. Oh, I still haven't seen so much, I haven't seen Tokyo Story, dude. Oh, man, I can't believe I've never even seen, Yojimbo, you know? Like, I'm waking up to, like, you don't just have to watch Captain America, The Winter Soldier over and over, but still, I have, you know, occasionally rankled, I should say, some fans of the DC films. If you like the films, it's fine. You know, I'm not trying to tell you don't like them. I am too old and honestly too busy. I know it sounds like a flex. I don't mean it like that. I can't be getting into arguments about, you know, media all the time. It's just a waste of everybody's time. You like what you like, and if you like it, then if somebody else doesn't like it, you just go, okay, whatever. And if they go, but it's bad, or then you go, you know what, buddy, like, I have a job. You can go, why don't you go to, you know, joeblowmovies.com or whatever. You can get into an argument with another loser online. I gotta get in my Ferrari and go to work at the business factory. You know, it's just, life's too short for that. You're not gonna be on your deathbed and be like, oh, any regrets, Grandpa? Yeah, I wish I convinced one more person that, you know, it wasn't worth waiting for the Snyder Cut. Nobody cares. Like, make memories, okay? But anyway, I almost feel like I have to take a stand and never watch Wonder Woman 1984. Because in the US, they came out with, and I know there's places, okay? In the US, they came out with it digitally on Christmas Day. Wow, that's a bummer. Which I think is a neat idea, and something that Rob and I have been advocating for a long time. Obviously, like, you know, we've been of the opinion, like, hey, just release your movies video on demand, like the day that they would have come out in theaters, and see how it goes. Obviously, neither of us were going like, yeah, and let's hope a global pandemic hits that makes it so they have to. No, we weren't like that. But, you know, in desperate times like this, I think it's nice that, you know, the studios are trying something a little bit different. You know, obviously out of desperation, but also, you know, like, it could lead to more consumer-forward trends in the future, maybe. That's my hope. But they didn't do it. They didn't do it in Canada. In Canada, Wonder Woman is only in theaters, and we're still, like, you know, virused up over here. It is not. It's like, I understand that, you know, a lot of the English-speaking world looks at things through an American-focused lens. I understand why. That being said, you know, and I'm like, you know, it's pretty bad over here. People are like, yeah, well, you can't hold a candle to how bad it is in my home state. And I'm like, okay, but still, like, I don't want to. You really think with, like, 600 active new cases a day in my province, I really want to, like, go to the theater to watch a 5 out of 10 superhero movie? I don't think so. So, like, I resent the fact that they didn't put it on digital in Canada. Would I have watched it if they did? No, and that's probably why they shouldn't, I guess, like, you know, take me seriously to begin with. But still, I just feel like it's kind of reckless. Like, in the US, they're like, oh, there's too many cases, we can't come out with it. In Canada, it's, like, still DEFCON 2. It's not quite DEFCON 1. And they're like, we'll risk it. And then if it goes wrong, then at least it's only the Canadians who died, right? Like, that's the message that it sends to me. That's probably not what Warner Brothers was trying to put across, but there is, like, a certain element of that that's, like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong to take offense to it. I'm just saying, like, if I wasn't gonna go see Tenet in theaters, there's no frickin' way I'm going to see Wonder Woman 1984. Are you insane? if you're gonna come out with a movie right now, have the audacity to put it in theaters, first off, I wouldn't see it no matter what right now, at least until we got vaccinated. But secondarily, it better be the best movie of all time and also warrant being seen on the big screen. Like, if a movie got reviewed and it was getting like 10 out of 10 across the board and people were like, I hate to say it, but you absolutely must see this in theaters, I would be like, Bugs Bunny meme photo? No. But I would at least be like, you know what? At least it's not just like a piece of garbage. Again, I'm not necessarily suggesting Wonder Woman 1984 is a piece of garbage. I haven't seen it. I'm merely suggesting that I've been told it's a piece of garbage from a bunch of people on Twitter. Which may be true and maybe not. And again, if you like it, more power to you. I don't care. If a lot of people loved each other, the world would be a better place to live. That was Johnny from The Room. And I think, honestly, it's words to live by. His name's Tommy. No, you imbecile! You absolute moron! His name is Johnny. He's played by Tommy Wiseau. The character's name is Johnny. Don't start with me. Sorry if I woke you up, by the way. Wasn't my intention. So anyway, yeah. I don't know. That's where I'm at. Had fun. It was fun holidays, you know? Watched a little bit of the World Junior Hockey Championship on TV. No big deal. I gotta admit, like, I feel bad for the German World Junior team that has had, you know, some illness on the team. And as a result, didn't get to dress a lot of players. But as somebody that went to the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympics and was like, oh, Canada faces Germany in the semifinals, and then Germany defeated us. You know, with a little bit of Schadenfreude to watch them lose 16-2 and watch Stützle constantly try to break his stick on the boards because he was frustrated. You know, now you know what it's like, Stützle. Now you know what it's like. I don't know what I'm suggesting. Perhaps that I guess you should have just let us win in the Olympics. But, you know, I'm just saying, this is how rivalries get formed. This is how rivalries get formed. You beat us 5-4 in an Olympics that will permanently have a question mark on it, and then go on to really throw away the gold medal in the game to the Olympic athletes from Russia. And then, you know, maybe a couple of years later, in a teenage tournament that only people from Canada watch, we beat you 16-2. Are we even? Oh no. Oh, not for a long time. That should be like the... Oh, hello, Tomal. You wanna get out of here? That should be like the Canadian motto. Like, if there was a Canada-wide license plate... Hold on. There you go. The license plate should say, like, Canada. We hold grudges. Which is largely true. It's largely true, I think. I don't know if it's a good habit or a bad habit. Usually they're merely sports grudges, but still. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't know. World Junior game was fun. A lot of people, they don't like to see like a blowout in sports. They're like, I feel bad for the other team. I'm like, yeah. Like, don't give it... I mean... I've been there. I've been blown out in every Among Us event I've ever played in. Both interrupted and also, like, on screen not doing very well. Every Twitch Rivals I've ever been in, I've kind of participated in disastrously from a gameplay standpoint. Here's the thing, it's just a game, you know? And we won, so then, like, who cares? There is, I don't know, I guess as a sports fan, you're never really happy, right? Because, like I want to see Canada win the World Juniors. It doesn't have a huge impact on my quality of life, admittedly, but, you know, you want to see your home country or the country you're rooting for at least win the, you know, win sports match. But then, like, they had the World Juniors in Vancouver 2 years ago. If you've been around for a while, you may remember this arc. And my parents came down, you know, it was very much pre-COVID. It was a lot of fun. And then Canada kind of like stunk, but we're like, it's no big deal because they'll pick it up in the playoffs. And then in the playoffs, they just lost in the quarterfinals, which is basically like coming in last place to a Canadian in a hockey tournament. I know that sounds kind of like, you know, conceded, but let me put it, it was considered a colossal underperformance. So I'm also like whenever and this is just, I think, emblematic of sports fans' inability to ever achieve true happiness. Even if they won this year, I think I would just be like, oh, I get it, now you win. Now that the tournament's in Alberta, you really try. When it was in Vancouver, you were like, not interested. I wouldn't actually be like that. You know, it happens. Made for some great banter at the time. Are we gonna, like, what floor is this? Necropolis 1? Okay, so how do I feel about this run? I feel like this run is in a good spot. We're one guppy item away from becoming guppy. That would be a nice little, like, peace offering after the last run kept us close to guppy, but no cigar. I would love to get a pretty nice speed upgrade here as well. That would tickle me. I do like the Emperor card. I do like the Emperor card. The run is actually, like, I hesitate to say this because, like, I know how it sounds, but, like, the run's actually, like, not that good. It just, I think it looks pretty great because our last run was, like, just a total disaster, right? This one, on the other hand, I wouldn't say it's bad, but, like, rate of fire is not improved too much. Damage is good, actually good. Not even like good with an asterisk on it. Wow. But like, still, I wouldn't say it's far from a win, but it's not quite as one as it might look. But certainly it is a lot better than our last one. Taurus could be a real game changer for us if we could actually get it to pop. I think we made the right decision to go Tammy's head instead of Guppy's head. Kind of spoiled for choice. HP obviously a bit of a concern here for us, but apart from that, everything's pretty much like hunky-dory. Should probably go look for all the secret rooms. Like this one, I think this is the first time we've heard the dog tooth, so it must be a second secret room right. Must be a regular secret room, like right. No, I suppose it could be a regular secret room right here. Okay, I suppose it could be like a regular secret room right there. I suppose I'm just dumb. I don't know what happened. Where's my secret room? Either way, dude. Oh my god. Really? It's right here? All right. You know, you got to admit, this is an unexpected location for it. The sun may rise in the east, at least it settles in a final location. Our base speed is so bad. So yeah, that was like my holidays. It might sound uneventful, but did you hear the Indian food we ordered? It was delicious. Got a little vegetable pakora, a little chana masala, a little, and I use quotation marks here, lamb curry, a couple of naan, little papadum. Delicious. And honestly, like, that's the way, like, I like to spend my holidays. Like, it's not just, like, because of the pandemic. I mean, obviously, it's a big part of it. But, like, and when our kid gets a little bit older, you know, we'll probably feel, you know, we'll be a little bit more, like, in the holiday spirit for sure. But, you know, for where I am in my life currently, that's kind of like the holidays that I enjoy, you know? Sitting at home, maybe watch a movie. Don't get me wrong, I like a turkey dinner, but it's kind of, you know, impractical for two people, to say the least. Two people and a baby who does not eat solid food as of yet. We're really going hard on the Spirit Hearts, by the way. So I had a great time. I enjoyed myself. I don't think we care too much about Pandora's Box. We definitely like Sackboy and more HP. Then we might as well, just to make sure we have enough keys moving forward. Ooh, careful. You know, you could do worse, I suppose. It's not good, but you could do worse. So yeah, I would say like I had a nice holiday. I think, like we were talking about, I was talking about it with Sips when we did our fishing stream, which I think everybody had a lot of fun with, you know, the participants included. But we were talking about, you know, the difference between life in, like, your 20s and life in your 30s. Really, like, you should live in your 20s like you live in your 30s, I think, if that makes sense. You probably should not live in your 30s the way you live in your 20s, or... You know, it could have, like, catastrophic health impacts depending on, like, the way that you'd like to live in your 20s. You know, all the fast food will go to your... It'll go straight to your waistline, and also, like, your chest will just start to hurt, I think. But, I think people should live in their... I don't think people should live in their 20s the way people live in their 80s, where they're just like, I don't care, I'm, like... I'm on borrowed time as is, right? Like... Sometimes there's a little, like, entitlement that I think, not always, but sometimes can come with age. In your 30s, like, I think at least my experience thus far, and I'm you know, over 20% into it, I guess, at this point, but, you know, you stop living so much based on the perceptions of other people. I recognize the irony of what I do for a job, but you stop caring so much about the perceptions of other people. I don't care for it, honestly. And you start to be unapologetic about the things that you know that you like and the things that you know that you dislike. If you enjoy being a homebody, if you like spending time at home, in your 20s, you may have sometimes felt the need to justify that to people. You know what I mean by that? Like, instead of being like, yeah, I just like staying at home, you'd have to be like, well, there was nothing going on anyway, and, you know, this, blah, blah, blah. Like, you gotta come up with excuses. Like, in your 30s, I really feel like people are way more aware and, like, appreciative of the fact that sometimes, you know, people just, like, maybe ask you to do something, and you're like, I don't know, it's not really my thing. I don't really want to. And they're like, you know what? Fine. If they get bent out of shape about it, they're the weird ones. You could obviously phrase it a little bit more politely, but you know what I mean. That's the way that's the energy I have in my 30s. It's kind of like, you know, you get to live life by your own terms. And I really don't think that there's any reason you couldn't do it when you're younger. But I do feel like it's a learning process. First off, you gotta discover what you really like. And then secondarily, you know, not everybody's as attached to it, but, you know, some people are preoccupied in their teenage and early 20s years about, like, being cool, or, you know, keeping up with the Joneses, or maybe flexing on social media and stuff like that. You tend to get a little older, you tend to hopefully care about that stuff a little bit less, although, admittedly, before I deleted Facebook, you were some, like, you know, 50-year-olds I knew that were like, they would constantly post their, like, leased BMWs on Facebook, like, exclusively to flex, and I'm like, man, you're old, dude. I'm not saying you shouldn't lease the car, I'm just saying, like what percentage of that car's price, for you was like, oh, it's justifiable because I'll be able to brag about it on Facebook. I don't know, it's just a little sad to me, but then secondarily, maybe, you know, you're like, hey, I know what I like, so F off. You know what? Fair play. I don't portend to know that I know how you're supposed to feel when you're 50 years old. Obviously, I'm still figuring that out myself, as I am 32 going on 55 in terms of my demeanor and word choice. Apparently. No, I am 32. I talk like I'm 80. I merely live like I'm in my 50s. I think that's fair. I talk like an 80-year-old college professor, and that's not meant as a compliment to myself. So, believe it or not, by the way, I actually think we're gonna lose this run. As of right now, I would deign to suggest that this is gonna be a loss. We actually, like, the run is not that good. And I know how you're gonna take that. You're gonna be like, you've got unrealistic standards now or something, but it's really not like that. Like, 7 rate of fire, 6.5 damage is okay, but it's not like, it's not blowing the doors off. We've had a lot of deals with the devil. Most of them have stunk pretty badly. We are one guppy item away. That would be a huge get, but... And we could win. I'm not suggesting a win is impossible. Or even unlikely. I do think it's less likely. I knew it was coming, dude. I knew it was coming! There goes our deal with the devil. As soon as our speed resets to 0.79, it's like, just cancel Christmas, dude. That time I did just overwalk, though, I'll admit. Or Overwalk 2 coming out this year, right? It's a lot of full health. I don't mind that. It's a lot of full health. And that's a lot of full health. And that's a lot of full health. I'm gonna keep Yera, because I think it's like the only way long-term we're gonna get ourselves out of this pit. But, anyway, yeah, that's, I mean, I don't know, this is not like a big wisdom sort of, you know, Isaac episode. It's just like, you know, I'm just calling it like I see it. Is always kind of like a time, you know, around this time of year. It's almost New Year's. You start to think about, like, New Year's resolutions. I would say, I have a couple of New Year's resolutions, I suppose. I haven't really quantified anything. I'll tell you what I said last year as well, because I do still believe it. I love having some bombs here, by the way. This is very nice. I think you should make New Year's resolutions. I think if you're one of those people who's like, well, if it's worth doing, then it's worth doing all the time. It's not worth just doing it on New Year's, and I'm going to use that as an excuse to never, like, try to improve myself at all, because I would have to acknowledge then that there's something, you know, that I don't like about my life that I'd like to change, and that's a sign of weakness. This is a very juvenile attitude. Now, yes, if, you know, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right now, you know, on the 28th when this video goes out, instead of waiting until the 1st. There is an exception to that rule, I think. Like, whenever people are like, you know, if it's worth losing weight, you should just do it right now. Yeah, but, like, it's the holidays. I'm not using that as, like, a huge excuse. But that's, like, the worst possible time to start, like, a weight loss goal. Like, I'm not saying you couldn't do it. I'm just saying, I think that it sets you up. Like, those first few days of your resolution are very important for, like, habit forming, you know? You don't want to, like, it's like starting the New Year's resolution that's like, I'm not going to drink any water, which is a bad resolution, but just hear me out for the purposes of the metaphor. You're like, I'm not going to drink any water, and your present location is like the Sahara Desert, you know? You should just wait till you get into, like, the ocean. Well, you can't drink the water in the ocean. You know, you should wait until you get into, like, a large lake or something before you make that resolution, just to give yourself the best chance possible of success. We're not going to open that because we need keys for the next floor. We're still not going to open it, but we're getting closer to opening it. That's for sure. So, you know, I think there is a case to be made that in some situations it's actually worth delaying the start of your resolution until a period where it makes the most sense to do it. Like, when you give yourself the best possible chance for success, I mean. It takes so freaking long for us to get the charge on the... Oh my god. Anyway. So yeah, I got a couple. Honestly, one is, like, spend more time with my family. So which honestly, you know, it's like a first world resolution to have, for sure. To have the ability to be like, I'd like to work less. I acknowledge it's coming from a place of, like, especially right now, a place of, like, extreme privilege. But it's also important, you know, just because it is, just because I'm lucky to have the option to do it doesn't mean it's not important. And then secondarily, I don't know, I think, like, I hope a running theme for me in 2021 is just, like, caring a lot less about anonymous criticism. I already, like, care, like, less than a lot of YouTubers. Like, I occasionally will, like, a comment will get to me or something like that. And, you know, I'll occasionally even make fun of it on stream or in a video or something like that. Very, very rarely do I succumb to the old YouTuber's gambit of, like, screenshotting a nasty comment that came from, like, probably some 12-year-old kid or something like that, and then being like, look how ridiculous this is. I really feel like in 2021, I'm kind of primed to just, like, completely, let's not say cut off. I wish I could get those. But I think I'm in a better position to just be like, you know, I don't really like quotes most of the time when they come to, like, I shouldn't have even opened this, to be honest, but when it comes to, like, quote-unquote self-help, I don't really like quotes, because I find that they're always, like, they're often, kind of, like, overly, like, blue sky thinking, like, in a perfect world, like, you know, if they can't handle me at my worst, they don't deserve me at my best. It's just, like, it's just a bad attitude. But there is a quote that I think has been resonating with me a little bit, you know? Which is, if you wouldn't accept advice from someone, why would you accept criticism from them? And I think that that's actually pretty valid, you know? Because the advice and criticism are kind of two sides of the same coin. You know, you can have an opinion on, like, the way that you think the content should go, and that's fine. But, like, if... I don't know, there's no way to say it without it sounding elitist, which is a criticism that honestly falls upon me quite honestly, and perhaps with some genuine deservedness from time to time, which could be a resolution in and of itself, but still, like, whenever I, like, ask, like, hey, what should I play on stream today, and I look at the suggestions, I'm like 85% of these, no chance, never gonna happen. But then, in the egalitarian arena of, like, YouTube comments, everything starts from an equal position, right? Because it's an opinion on you instead of, like, the content, I guess. But realize, like, when I look back at like my career in content creation, I don't mind calling it that. I don't get uppity about people saying, like, I'm not gonna. Oh, I'm an artist, actually. I think, you know, you're calling it like you see it. I would say, like, typically, on average, I've made more good decisions than bad ones. And to trust myself more, I guess, is another kind of... If we're getting into, like, very, like, the secret style New Year's resolutions, that could be one. Okay, Cricket's Head is huge. Bursting Sack is fine. Analog Stick is honestly kind of nice. Dead Tooth is not horrendous, I suppose. I think we want the Straw. This run is still pretty not good. I would not necessarily predict a win. Even though it might look like... I mean, it's much more likely we're going to win now than it was when we just got done with that mom fight. But this run is still kind of not great. And if I could go back in time, I definitely would not pick up Guppy's Tail, I think. I think that is going to end up being one of those decisions that is... Let's come back to bite us. Anyway, so, you know, I got a bunch of resolutions. A lot of them actually have to deal with, maybe not internet criticism, but just, like, not getting sucked into the misery pool of online discourse. I know, like, there's problems with the world. And I think some of them are alleviated or solved potentially. And it's a, kind of like a big potentially. But, like, I'm not one of those people who's going to rag on so-called slacktivism. That's like, wow, you should never raise awareness about anything. Instead, you should be out volunteering at a soup kitchen. You know, I think there's something to be said for raising awareness. But I do also think that, to some extent, there's, like, a little bit of, like, a masturbatory effect to, like, you know, getting into arguments online. Like, I tweeted, and this is, like, I don't know why I'm explaining it as if, like, it's director's commentary. I should just say what I said in the tweet. My tweet was, if you're looking for a New Year's resolution, I got one for you. Stop getting into arguments about dumb stuff online. I really feel like, and you don't have to take that advice, by the way. Maybe you already don't get into that many arguments online, or maybe it's your brand to get into arguments online. But there's a lot of people out there, like, getting into arguments online every day for free. Or even worse, at great personal cost, i.e. they should be working. But instead, they're like, nah, I'm going to get in an argument, like, bad faith with somebody just to, like, you know, just because it feels good for a second. And then they get in, like, a bad mood and they're like, sorry, I'm taking the rest of the day off. Like, that's just, you know, I'm not even close to that level, but I could definitely be better about it. I think I need to return to, like, it's not actually weighing on my mental health or capacity or whatever, but just, like, getting back into, like, the indiscriminate mute sort of meta for Twitter. Twitter's actually, like, extremely positive. I feel bad even saying it. But I'm like, I don't know. Here's the way I see it. Like, there's some people that, like, they're in the community, they like the content, but they just complain nonstop, you know? And you look at that, and I'm not trying to dunk on them, really, but you look at that and you go, you know, it's not the way I would choose to spend my leisure time. I think is, like, returning every day to watch some content that I hate and then leave a comment that's, like, you know, just kind of bad faith about it or whatever. And it happens on Twitter now as well. Now and then, I should say. But, you know, whenever you're like, hey, be nice, people, like, actually, this happens on Reddit more than anywhere else. Whenever you're like, hey, it seems like you leave, like, exclusively negative content, negative comments about stuff. Like, have you considered, like, first off, are you okay? But also, like, not doing that, or maybe spending your time on content that you find fulfilling instead of deriving some weird sort of value from just being so critical all the time. Oftentimes, we're really hit with like a reply that is like, oh, what? So criticism's not allowed? No, it's like totally allowed, but also like, I'm gonna mute you. Which is fine if you don't mind being muted, but like, yeah, it's like the way I see it is like, it's not even, like, the obvious is if in your personal life, if every time you talk to somebody who claimed to be, like, your friend, if they were like, your hair looks like crap today, you look tired, did you sleep well last night? Didn't think so. No, why'd you do that, you know? After, like, 6 months of that, you would be like, you'd just delete their number, right? You would never return to their calls. And you'd be like, oh, you don't like, I see how it is, you can dish it out, but you can't take it. It's okay, well, then let's neither dish it out nor take it. See you never, right? But even on the other hand, I don't know, I feel like if you were like a private business, like if you ran a restaurant, and then somebody came in every day to eat the food and then, like, yell at you, and they were like, oh, you don't like restaurant reviews? I'd be like, whatever, weirdo, just get out of my store. Don't you have, like, a, you know, like a friend that you can bother instead? I don't know, it's just weird. So yeah, I'm trying to do, I mean, I guess my resolution for 2021 is just kind of like, be meaner. But not in like a mean way. It's, you know, just recognize, like, you're under no obligation to just suffer the slings and arrows of, you know, known bad actors who cower behind, you know, anonymous profiles in order to be a-holes. And instead just be like, you know, see ya. It's not even in like a mean-spirited way, just in like a, you know, I don't want to look at this anymore. So those are my resolutions. Maybe there's something applicable for you in there as well, but I really feel like getting away from internet toxicity is a big one. Like, a good resolution could also be nice, but if you're already like a relatively nice person, I think, you know, having some self-respect, and if people are mean to you, just being like, okay, I'm done, is also a good one. Either way, hope you have a good rest of December. I'll be back tomorrow. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. That was a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!